Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Where we at, people? Where we at? Come on, I gotta hear you louder than that. Where we at, people? Come on. Let me hear them hands. Damn it, I want to hear the feet too. Come on now. It's about to be the end of the year, man. Let's end this year off right. Come on, let's make some noise. Let's make some noise for the best Spurs live stream coming to you. Come on, folks. You could have been anywhere tonight, but you are here now. Tune in to the greatest. Come on, give yourself a hand. Come on. You made it here, didn't you? You deserve an applause too. Come on, folks. Clap for yourselves. Clap for yourselves. There's plenty of love to go around. Please. Come on. All right, let's get my face back on the screen. We are live, folks. It is De La Spurs coming to you live again. Another day, another dollar for some. I hope y'all are doing well tonight. I hope y'all are getting, having your meals around this time, probably. You're probably just now settling in for the night. Some of y'all might just be getting off of work, depending on where you're from and what you're doing. Either way, no matter where you're from, what you're doing, where you're coming from, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you want to spend this live stream with me. Oh, snap. Hold up. Turn off the air conditioner. I know that's probably loud as shit in the background. So that's why I'm going to turn it off. It's going to cut off in a minute, but in the meantime, give yourselves a round of applause. You made it another night, another year. We are coming to the end of 2025, baby. A year. I'm not sure how your years went. Hopefully they went well. I know my year went well. I ended better than where I started, and hey, man, that's the goal sometimes. Just to be better off where you started at the beginning of the year. You may have not taken the major steps, but you further progressed in where you're going than where you first started. So give yourselves a round of applause if that applies to you. If not, then guess what? We got next year coming. Don't worry about it. The new year's coming, new beginnings. So don't stress it. We ain't stressing this new year, but glad to be coming to y'all live, folks. It's De La Spurs Live. We're coming to you. We're talking about Tottenham today. What do we got on the docket here? We got an away win. Another one. In the words of DJ Khaled, another one. Another away win. London Derby, away from home against Crystal Palace. Hey, not an easy game at all, but we'll get into the details, what we thought and everything, go over the lineups, kind of talk about the game overall. We also got some other topics coming. We're going to be talking about this year in review, and I do mean the calendar year, not the season, the calendar year 2025. How the team looked this year, how we could have been, we could have done better, how we can be better in 2026, coming in next season, or I should say next calendar year. See, I'm even messing up on that. But hey, we're going to talk about what's next for 2026, what's needed for 2026, what the expectations are versus what is needed. And, that will obviously lead into the January window as well as we approach it. I think we are about 3 to 4 days out from the window actually opening at the beginning of January. I don't know if it actually opens this week or next week, but we going to figure it out. And hey, man, we going to talk about what we need in the window. So everybody get on the live chat, make your opinions known, make your voice known. I want to see what you guys are talking about in the live chat. I want to see what you guys think of the win, of how we were playing and everything. But first, of course, I gotta do the logistics. Go ahead, like this stream, subscribe to the YouTube channel. I'm gonna be trying to do this every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I'm coming to you live, usually around the same time. 6:30 is usually when I stream Central Standard Time. So please go ahead, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. I'll be posting usually about 30 minutes to an hour out before I go live. So feel free to go ahead, hit the notification bell so when you know I'm going live, you can go ahead, join the live chat. Go ahead, let your loved ones know. Oh man, De La Spurs is coming to me live. De La Spurs is coming to me like, hey man, you might need to get in on this. You might need to get in on this. You know what I'm saying? That's you might need to talk to a loved one, a friend, someone. But hey man, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, like this stream. Go ahead, hit the like button. Let's get this algorithm kicking. I want everybody to be looking at this. The way we're going to do that is for you guys to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Let's get the algorithm kicking for De La Spurs. Y'all know the logistics and everything, but just wanted to take that time out. Go ahead and do that for me, please. And thank you. All right. So, what do we have here today? We have first, let's go ahead and talk about the game here. We got Crystal Palace, Tottenham 1, I should say 0-2-1 win away from home. Let me go ahead and get the starting lineups pulled up and everything. Hey man, like I said before, it's not an easy game going to Crystal Palace, especially playing them at home. I don't know what the record is at home, but man, when that team is on it, they're on it. And even today, you can on the game day, you can kind of see, they had their moments, they had their chances. They were dominating possession, especially in that first half. But we came away with the win. We dug in deep. We got what we needed to get through. What was that? Oh, dug in deep. You know what? It's whatever, man. It's whatever. All right, let's go ahead and pull up. I got the starting lineups here. All right, let's go ahead and get into it. For Spurs in goal, we had Vicario. He only had to make 2 saves on the day. Seemed like a pretty easy day for him. At the back, we had Pedro Porro, Kevin Danzo, Mickey Van de Ven, and Jed Spence. Danzo obviously being the starter after Romero getting that red card against Liverpool. In the midfield, we had Bentancur, Archie Gray, Mohamed Kudus, and Lucas Bergvall. I imagine, again, because Xavi Simons got a red card as well in that Liverpool game, he was not getting the start. So we saw Lucas Bergvall come on. We also saw Archie Gray get another start. That is another start for Archie Gray. He also got the game-winning goal, the only goal in the game on the 42nd minute with that header. Good on him for getting out there. I know I've been a critic of him and what he's been able to contribute, but what I'll say is, I'll kind of get into a little bit later with Thomas Frank, but it looks like there are some players that are actually starting to show some sort of form, that are getting some starting time in the game. Now, is this just because Xavi Simons is out? Is that because we were down a couple of players? Is this the formation he just thought was best for this game? Or are we starting to see Archie Gray kind of submit himself as that starter and then João Palhinha come in the second half and kind of clean things up? We'll see how that works out through the rest of the season, especially after the January window. Getting back to the starting lineup, though, 2 players up top, attackers, Randall Colomwani and Richarlison. Richarlison got the assist on the game. So, when I think of the starting lineup, again, another start for Archie Gray. Thought that was pretty decent on his part to go ahead and earn that position. So, it looks like Thomas Frank is not necessarily playing his favorites. You would think it would be Bentancur and Polina again, but it's Archie Gray and Bentancur, and it's looking like that. Again, Archie Gray is finding that position. He's finding himself in that position, and maybe this is a sign that Thomas Frank is starting to trust him a little bit better now that he's seen him get game time now and he's seen him kind of imprint himself into a game, especially in a London derby like this for a youngster. Yeah, man, I think that's good on his part, and I gotta give him credit for getting the goal as well. So gotta give the shout out to Archie Gray getting the goal. I had to, like I said, I was a critic of Archie Gray, so I'll throw my palms up and say, hey man, good on you for getting the goal. Good on you for getting the last couple of starts, or at least getting the game time that you're beginning. And hey man, if it's gonna help Tottenham win, that's all I want. That's all I want. If he's gonna continue to progress and Tottenham's gonna win games as they're doing it, I'm happy. I'm happy. There will be a smile on my face. So I ain't gonna hate on the young man. But just talking about the game, kind of overall, yeah, I thought. I mean, I thought it was a pretty blunt game in the sense that we had our chances. I think Crystal Palace had their chances, but I think on the whole we did not look great at all. I think we looked pretty sloppy. There's Richarlison up top. There's definitely some loose touches when we were trying to connect some play. There's definitely some uh, uh, missed passes in the first half. It definitely looked like we were happy just to kind of get out of the first half up 1-0, especially after that goal. We created that opportunity. And did it feel like we were going to go ahead and try to score again? Yes. I think we had opportunities in the second half. I think once we saw Crystal Palace, it looked like Crystal Palace kind of threw that opening punches and they might have burnt themselves out in the end. So I think once we got closer towards the end of the game, we were able to create more chances, get more on the ball. Polina came in. Kolo Muani, I think who else came in? I think Odeberg came in as well. Yeah, Polina, Brendan Johnson, Dragusin, and Wilson Odeberg came in and pretty much helped seal out the game for us. I thought some standout performances. One was Kevin Danzo coming in the back. I don't think I think he was a little rough at the beginning, but as the game settled in, he settled in. And yeah, man, he was solid at the back for us, keeping the clean sheet for us away from home. Another standout performance, obviously, again, Archie Gray getting the goal, getting the starting minutes. I have to give it up to him for having a standout performance. I know you could say as well, and this might be a surprise. Some people will say with Charleston, I didn't think he had a lot of great moments, but he was obviously involved in a lot of the game. And yeah, ultimately helped supply the game-winning goal, as well as I know he had a couple of offside goals as well. So I mean, he was in it and he was involved. And even though every involvement didn't look great on the eye, he was still getting his moments in. So that's good on his part. So those are probably the standout performances. Have to give him that. Yeah, man. Let's see. We're gonna go into the next. Let's see. Did Thomas Frank get it right? Did Thomas Frank get it right? I'll say this. I think his squad selection, as frantic as it is, I think we're seeing now that a lot of these players are how should I say it? I think some players are progressing under Frank. I think the young players in Bergval, Archie Gray, I think Wilson Odeberg, when he came on, he looked pretty positive as well. I think the more time they get and the more times they're rotated, yes, it may be sporadic. Yes, there may be times where some fans may be calling them to start, um, maybe uh, get substituted on a little bit sooner in the game, but it looks like they are starting to kind of find themselves a bit. And I think for a lot of Spurs fans who are fans of these players, Odeberg, Bergval, and Archie Gray, maybe even Tell, I think you have to look at it as a positive under Frank that these players are starting to find themselves a little bit. I think, and not to try to play comparisons between each manager, but I think under Ange's system, it wasn't necessarily as structured for them. Yes, you could say there's a little bit more maverick to their play, and some fans like that as well. But I think you're seeing once they're given a role and they're given tasks and areas to cover, that they're starting to kind of find themselves. I think they're also starting to try to take the game. Once they kind of find themselves in their positions and they kind of settle into the game, okay, how can I make an impact? Where can I get in here? Where can I do this? Where can I do that? Think there's still a lot of room to grow for these players as well. But I think, like I said, Archie Gray getting the start, he got us a goal. That's got to be a thumbs up for Thomas Frank. Putting Kevin Danzo at the back, he was solid as well. Another good decision on his part. I think bringing in Jao Polina when he did and kind of helped stabilize the team and help settle out the win, I think also was a positive as well. So I would say all in all, man, I think he got it right. I don't think there's much that you could say was an issue as a fan. Uh, really, with his decision making. Let me not say with the performance. Say you could have your critiques of the performance. I'm not gonna blame you with that. But yeah. No, all in all, yeah, I'd say good on Frank's part. Good on Frank's part. So, um, just to kind of get back into things, yeah, man. I think all in all, a good win away from home. I'm gonna try to pull up some stats from our home and away biz, but I mean, let me see here. Oh no, these are the individual player stats. All right, hold on. I got the wrong screen pulled up. Y'all gonna have to forgive me. I know. I thought I had the right thing pulled up. I was gonna have to give me some time. Give me some goddamn time. Let's see. Okay. There you go. I was trying to look for some advanced stats, but I'm not seeing it right now. So we're going to go back to that. But we're just going to go ahead and jump into the next topic, the 2025 year review. What can I say, man? I think obviously from the top, the positive was winning the Europa League. That is obviously a big positive, big positive for the team, for the club. Um, but it is a turning door, sliding doors moment. Is that what people say? Sliding doors moment. You have to progress and move on from that point. And I think from when we won the Europa League, you could say, okay, even though the form was bad under the previous manager, going up to that point, we going into next season and going in with Frank and finishing out the 2025, going into 2026, you think there would be, how would you say, a plan of kind of climbing up the ladder a little bit. But looking at the transfer window, looking at the players we sold, and looking at the players we brought in, you could say yes, Kolobawadi, Xavi Simons, Kudus, Paulinho. These are solid signings. These are, or I should say, these are solid players. But if you really deep it, two of them are on loan, so we don't even know if we're going to keep these two players going into next season. Second thing is we got rid of four players. and we pretty much brought 4 players in, right? We lost 4 players out of the starting lineup. We brought 4 players in. So we didn't really necessarily add on as far as available bodies to the squad. I don't think we just kind of replaced the people that were missing. Um, and then last but not least, as far as a contingency plan to continue from this point, uh, does it look like the ownership knows what they want to do next? Does the ownership look like they know what are the next steps to getting from A to B? And or if we are at A right now, is this still A, or are we moving on to B? Are we at B right now? Is this going to C to D? Like, where are we in our progress, and where does this ownership think we are, as far as getting back to competing for top four and pretty much in every competition, competing in every competition, and essentially in every game, competing to win every game. I mean, I think that's what Spurs fans want, to be quite honest. So, didn't really look like we had that plan, did we? It looks like we kind of patched over some holes from what the ownership was saying with getting Levy out, and that was another big event in 2025. Maybe that might be second on the list. Is Daniel Levy's firing, not his moving on. He was fired with like immediate effect. So Daniel Levy being fired, that's another big event. But with him being fired, it kind of felt like, or I should say, it kind of felt like it was pretty much implied by the new Enoch kids that are kind of taking over things now in Daniel Levy's absence, is that he, as the CEO, kind of had the reins on everything and was running the club, not to its optimal. But don't worry, have no fear. The Enoch kids are here, and they're coming to save the day for us. But it still feels like, and even under Levy, there's still this kind of patching up holes and not necessarily planning for the next what the next 3 to 5 years will look like as far as competing. Just kind of how do we keep our fans happy and keep everything on track as we go into next year, as we go into the next thing, as the next obstacle pops up. How do we navigate this with everything we have on our shoulders? And it doesn't. Yes, it feels good in some moments when you get past or you get through things, but I don't think a lot of fans have been happy or been satisfied with what the long term planning has been with the club. And I think a lot of fans and even the ownership has kind of struggled with identifying where we are right now as a club and what we need to do to move forward. And it kind of all encapsulated itself with Thomas Frank because you have a mismatch of players. They're playing with the manager who's, to be quite honest, I think he does have a system of play, but I think a lot of what his tactics are is countering other teams. So with that, you're not necessarily going to get a, how should I say it? I don't think you're necessarily not going to get a. I don't think you're necessarily going to get a style of play that you're going to see consistently every game. I think you're going to get a brand of football, and that is countering football. Is that we are going to be the opposite or the polar of whatever team is doing, no matter where we're going. We are going to set up tactically to be absolutely the opposite or against that, or even just to nullify it in general and hit on the counterattack, right? So it's not necessarily a style of or I'm sorry, yeah, a style of play you're going to see consistently every game. You're more than likely going to see more of a brand of football, and with the mishmash of players and this sort of brand of football, it's not really connecting, is it? It's not really, lack of a better term, amalgamated into anything that is what the fans want to see, what the fans get excited for, fans have hope for the future. And it doesn't necessarily look like the ownership has set up anything to progress on from this point. Now, I guess kind of to wrap up the year review, one of the negatives has been the home form. Obviously, the home form, I don't know. I don't have the exact number, but I know it's like at least like 20 losses at home. At least 20 losses at home, maybe even more over in the calendar year. It's unacceptable, man. It's unacceptable. And as a fan, I mean, I don't live in London, so I can't necessarily tell you how it feels, but I can't imagine it feels great going into the stadium. I know it and you can tell as I watch games on television and other people watch games on television, you could tell that the crowd is not they're not in it like they used to be. They're not involved. They're not you know ingratiated or ingrained into the game like they used to be. There's always this hesitancy, this tentativeness, this they're just not really inspired at all. And listen, it's hard to. I think it's hard for any manager to try to navigate that. I think it's hard for the players to try to navigate that, and you want to do your best at home every game. But again, looking at both, holding both players and the manager accountable, I think you can say for the players, there's been times where you see these players, they walk out of the tunnel as soon as that whistle blows, they just don't look up for it, man. They look like this. They look like they've already admitted defeat. They look like, oh, the team that's standing against us is running faster. They're going to get to every ball faster than us. They're going to be up for it more. Let's just buckle in for the next 45 minutes and hopefully they lose steam. Like it, sometimes these players just don't seem like they're engaged or implying themselves. And as a manager, you can only do so much. Like as Thomas Frank, right? If say for example, I'm Thomas Frank, right? I'm standing on the sideline. I got Brendan Johnson close to me on the sideline. I'm telling him whenever he gets the ball, which may not be a lot, but if he does get the ball, take on your man. Okay, let's say he tries to take on his man the first time. He knocks it off of him. It goes out for a throw. Next time he gets it, come on, take on your man. Take on your man. Okay, he tries to take on his man. He gets around him, but he doesn't really put in a good pass because he didn't have enough time to scan, didn't have enough skill to have and give himself enough time to do anything. All right, next time you get the ball, take all the man, take all the man. He takes all the man, loses the ball, it goes out. It's still our throw. Next time, take on your man. You think by the fourth or fifth time, Brendan Johnson's going to be like, man, will you just shut the hell up and let me do what I'm trying to do, man? It doesn't matter what Frank is telling the dude. He's going to say, hey, man, shut up and let me play I was the top goal scorer. I got my contract here for playing how I play. Let me do my thing. I don't care with you telling me to take on my man and doing this and doing that. I'm obviously like, some people have to realize it's on both, but there's only so much you can do. There's only so much you can tell a player to do who just doesn't have it, right? If you're talking about like Richarlison, yes, you can try to make the tactics to which he doesn't necessarily have to be involved in the build-up play as much, but man, looking at his first touch, just like, oh, come on, bro. There's only so much Thomas Frank is going to be able to tell that dude to make him better. There's only going to be so much time in the season for him to do those sort of drills. Like, there's only going to be so much he could do. So it's just to kind of put it all in a head and move on to the next topic, actually, which is – what's next for 2026? Obviously, we're going to have to look at this January window as kind of like a platform, and not necessarily saying like the whole calendar year is going to be dependent on how this January window goes, but I definitely think how we close this season and what's going to happen to the future of Frank and the squad depends on this January window. Because I think what's going to be apparent is he going to be given something, a spark, some sort of inspiration through a player or players that will be brought in the January window? Is there going to be any motivation, any spark that he finds within himself? Is he going to say, all right, it hasn't been great the first half of the season, but let's put some foot to ass in the second part of the season and let's try to get something out of this, and then as well, you have to say, all right, depending on how we perform in the second half of the season, are we going to keep players like Paulinha and Mawani? And if we do, okay, what does that mean for the other positions? Does that mean now we have to clear some space by selling some players? Are we now saying Mawani, who's going to be the number one? If Mawani has a great part of the second season after Richarlison has gotten us, however many goals in the first part of the season, who's going to be number one? Does that mean we're keeping both? Or are we going to keep only one? So it really does depend, what we do in this January window, how this is going to set up Frank for the second half of the season. And that second half of the season is going to set up, obviously, how the rest of the 2026 is going to go. So, again, and I know this pretty much, you probably go to any Spurs content channel, any Spurs fan will say this next transfer window is so pivotal. This transfer window is going to set up how this club is going to be for the next so and so years. I mean, we've heard this 1,000 times, but I mean, it's the truth. It's a very important window. But I know we had some cash injection, cashola. I don't really know the prospects that we're looking at right now. To be quite honest, I don't think there's been a lot of news of who we're looking at. I think there's been like rumors with players who are available in January and we may be connected with, but I don't think I've seen anything like solid from the club saying like, hey, this is one guy we're going for, or this is the profile of the guy that we're going for. So don't know how that's going to go. But yeah, man, it's going to be an important window, and hopefully this ownership can show some responsibility, can show some grit, show some balls, right? Show some sack, okay? That oh, come on, man. It's just an expression. I don't actually mean show some sack, like obviously. But hopefully they can show the fan base and show the manager and show some of the players just the ambition that we've been held back by Daniel Levy. Show some of the ambition that they've come to rescue us with. So it'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see. In my opinion, what's going to be next for 2026? Well, I think for one thing, I don't necessarily want to say Frank is pretty much going to have his pink slip handed to him, but to be quite honest, with as much of a fuss this fan base is making, if honestly, and I'm being completely honest here, like I'm not trying to take the piss out of anybody, I'm not trying to be a jackass or anything, but if we're not in like if we're not in top 10, and that not including 10, the fan base is going to want him out. They're going to want him out. If we're not in the top 10, they're going to want him out. If we are outside the top 10, they're going to be calling for Frank's head at the end of the season. No matter what the performances are, no matter if there's injuries, they are going to want that man's head. They're going to be saying, why did we get rid of so-and-so, the previous manager, we had this and this and this just to finish 11, and the football doesn't look great and all this, and it's going to turn into a whole mess. So I would hate to see him go, especially if he was to get like top 10. I think that would be excellent. That would be, I think, great progression on our part to move up 7 places with that squad. And try to get more next season. I think that would be that. I think that's pretty good to try to get back on track. But yeah, man, I think there's a lot of fans that, so to speak, were ready to start flexing their chests a little bit after winning the Europa League. And I think with how we're playing, they're just not happy with what they're seeing. They're not happy with the product. And I think a lot of fans are thinking winning the Europa League was a progression. It was a step to the next thing, similar to with Pochettino and making it to the Champions League final. All right, well, what's the next thing? We need to be getting better from here. And we're seeing, again, from this ownership, they're just like, oh, what? You guys, oh, that wasn't You guys aren't well. Okay, well we can try to find another manager, I guess, and we'll bring a couple more players in and see how this season goes. And you're like, wait a minute, you guys didn't have any idea of wanting to do more, wanting to progress more. We're going to be in the Champions League. We're going to be doing this. We're going to be doing that. Well, Lord knows, as soon as we got in the Champions League, those ticket prices, baby, posting them. Social media got posted. Okay, go ahead and renew this. Go ahead and do that. Fans, go ahead and set up for next season. Fans, we have this ready for you. We have this ready for you. We got packages starting at this price. All of this for the Champions League. And then when it comes to the players and the coach, you're like, well, I guess you're right. I guess we do got to buy you guys a couple more players, and yeah, I guess this manager we'll give him a season, see what happens. Like for me, that's not acceptable. What I got this still going. Now to get into it and kind of wrap up here, because I don't want to take too much of your time. I just wanted to talk to you guys for about an hour. What's needed for 2026? All right. So what is needed? I think if you want to kind of talk about, let's kind of start on the ground level, then we'll kind of move up because just talked about the ownership for a little bit. So let's go back down to the ground level to the players, right? As far as the players that we need, in my opinion, and I'm no football coach, I'm no football expert. I am armchair or couch manager as much as anybody else is. And your opinions are valid. Go ahead and throw it in the chat. If you have anything, what do you think we need for next season, player-wise, profile-wise? If it is another manager, go ahead and put it in the chat. Let me know. But just to talk about the players, I think we need that on-the-ball number 8. I think we need that number 8 that is constantly on the ball, constantly wants his foot on the ball, constantly wants to designate the traffic from the back through the midfield up to the attack. I think a name that was being thrown out was a Ruben Neves, who I believe, if I remember correctly, is over in Saudi Arabia playing in that league. So I know there's a couple of good footballers that are out there that may be enjoying the money and enjoying the weather, but as far as the football product, they may not be enjoying it as much. They may still want that competitive edge, that spark, that electricity in the morning when you wake up for a match, So some of them might be wanting to come back, and I think João Neves was, I think he was one of those guys. So that's a number 8 that I think we could get. He's an older, I think he's an older guy. I can look this up real quick, but I know he's not any spring chicken, I don't think. So he's not going to be some quick on the ball number 8. I don't think he's going to be the guy that's going to be bombing up and down the field. But I think if you're looking for a solid player that whenever he gets the ball, you're comfortable, he's going to make a pass, whether it's going backwards, going forward. He's going to make a good pass, or he's going to be trying to create something. I think that's a player that we can get. On the left wing, I think we definitely need a left winger or a left midfielder, however you want to say it. Out on the left, I think people were talking about Lookman. I forgot his first name. It's like Autobahn Alabudaba Lookman. Hold on, let me look it up real quick. Ademola. Ademola Lookman. Is a player that you could say is available right now that we could get on the left wing. I think it was 2 seasons ago. He ripped it up in the Europa League, I think he got like a hat trick or something. Pretty much won the game for Atalanta, their last trophy I think that they won. So he's definitely someone that if he's wanting to take that next step into the Premier League, I mean it's a big step from playing in Italy, just from kind of like watching Serie A. I mean the pace is at a pretty decent pace, but I still think that you don't get as much time or as much touches on the ball in the Premier League. So it's definitely going to be an adjustment, and only getting half of a season. I'm not sure if you would necessarily say you're going to be getting the best of that player, but he's definitely someone that at least knows position, plays that position, and can be someone that we can rely on to kind of be that number one, or at least compete for that number one versus Kolo Muani going out left, or Xavi Simons when he gets back going out left, or Wilson Odeberg going out left. If we could have that kind of that starter, then we can kind of play around with who we can bring in at the time to replace him. I think somebody else that we could look for, and I know this is going to be kind of strange to say, but a left back. If we could get a good left back to I think if we could get a left back that complements the play more of I want to say more of a Pedro Porro, to be quite honest. I forgot Sergio Reguilon if he played out on the right. I think he played out on the right. So I think Pedro Porro, that was that replacement. But I want that long ball specialist, that passer who's comfortable in the back with the defenders and getting the ball, and is able to put in a good cross. Now, I haven't done a lot of research. I'm not any sort of player researcher person, so I can't necessarily go out and list some names. But I think that's definitely another profile that we could take if we could find someone like that in the January window. I think it would definitely be appreciated in the squad just to help create some balance, and you don't have to try to force Ben Davies, or you don't have to try to get a Dogie back from an injury or whatever as quickly as possible. You can have some time and space to let that position kind of sort out. I imagine, if anything, we probably are going to get a couple players on loan. I don't see us getting any permanent signings in January. Probably going to get most of these players out on loan. I think these teams are going to want them back and want to renegotiate the prices. Even though we have that huge, we got the huge bankroll. I don't think I'm not sure if a lot of teams are going to be willing to sell players outright, unless they are simply just not getting the time, or the player is not happy in their current situation. But what's needed for 2026, I think that's kind of in the January window. In the summer window, overhaul, man. I think there needs to be an overhaul. I think we need to see at least 5 to 7 players come in, and we need to at least sell another 4 to 5 players. So really bringing in only like 2 extra players, and you could say that maybe won't be enough, depending on if we get. I don't think we're going to get European places, so we're going to have one game pretty much next season, in my opinion, when we finish. So if we can add on another 1 or 2 players into that squad, get rid of like 4 or 5, bring in 4 or 5. Let this be the year that we build up the squad, because we didn't do it this season. It should have been this summer. This summer should have been the summer you bring in 5 or 7 players. You're in the Champions League. You bring in 5 to 7 good players, maybe 2 or 3 great or top players, and you say, hey, let's see what we could do in this Champions League, but we didn't do that. So I think next summer is when you're going to bring in the 5 or 7 players that are good to great quality, if not top quality. And I think there's some players that can definitely be sold. I think what's needed for 2026 is to sell some damn players, bro. We need money, bro. We need money. We can't keep. I feel like we a bunch of broke dudes asking everybody for money all the time. We need cash injections. We're asking people for investments. We're about to freaking. I just don't get it. If we could sell some more players, I don't think we would be that stressed for money. That be begging for money as much from other people. Just my opinion, right? I don't think we've done the best as far as selling. I don't think, like, since Harry Kane, and I'll ask people this, since Harry Kane, when's the last player we sold for like 50 million plus? Hell, even 40 million plus. Like, when's the last player we sold for that amount? And I'm not necessarily saying like the players that we got are necessarily going to sell for that amount, but it's just like it's kind of like a mindset of, all right, you want to get something out of this squad. It feels like every time we bring a player in, they're going to be 100% perfect for the squad, and we don't want to ever let them go because we never know if they're going to be super duper really, really good. And it's like you can't have that mentality with every single player that comes in. You're afraid to let them go because you don't know how good they're going to be in the future. That's just the risk and reality of football players and transfers. So at some point, we're going to have to cut ties, and I think we will. I think players like Basuma, I think we're going to cut ties with. Let me get the squad sheet back up. Hold up. Hold up. Uh 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 so I mean, just kind of looking at the squad, we got a lot of players, and we still got players we got to bring in as well too. We got that young Asian midfielder that we got to bring in. Also the I think he's Japanese. We got two defenders we got to bring in as well. So there's still players that we got to bring in. So we definitely need to get rid of some. But I mean, yeah, I can definitely see players like what do we got? I mean, we got so many. Like looking at the defenders, like sorry, Ben Davies, bye bye. Great service to the club. Thank you. Salute. Hold on. Let me give you a round of applause, Ben Davies. Thank you. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your service. Now leave. Bye bye. Thank you. We need this space for else people. To be quite honest, looking at what else got in the back. They got some youngsters. I don't know who this Byfeld player is. Got Alfie Dorrington out in the back. I don't know who this Hardy guy is. Have Ashley Phillips. I don't know who this James Rosewell guy is. So not necessarily say we got to sell youngsters or sell these academy talents, but we got room. We got players to create money with. And I think that also is, on the ownership. They got to be creative enough to kind of do something with this. I forgot which season it was, but there was a season we forgot we had so many players out on loan that we just end up having to cut one because we negotiated, what's his name? Matt Doherty for a loan. And I think it was like it fell through because like we had too many players out on loan, so we just had to cut him and eat his wages. Like, that's crazy. Like, we got to do a little bit better. Got to do a little bit better than that. You know what I'm saying? So, let's see who we got in the midfield as well. Then we got some midfielders we can get rid of. Let's see. Like, we have George Abbott. I think he's a youngster. Basuma, bye-bye. He's gone. To be quite honest, and I know this is going to come to a shock to some people, I wouldn't mind getting rid of a Kulusevski figure if we're able to replace him. But with a lot of injuries and, he has some good performances. He's definitely been someone that we can rely on. But I think if we want to take that next step, if we want our midfield to take that next step, I mean, I think with Ange, he was getting moved out wide. He was getting played out wide as like a wide midfielder, almost like a winger. So he may not even come back into the midfield once he gets back with the team. He may be playing out wide. Hell, I don't know. But one of those players that, depending on how he comes back, hopefully at this season, I think will definitely determine how we're going to feel towards keeping him. And I think it's a tough question that we would definitely need to ask. Like, is that someone that we want to necessarily say this is the guy that we want to? This is going to be our maverick, our ace in the sleeves is Kulusevski coming off the bench, or he's going to be starting in this game. Maybe not. I don't know. But, I mean, obviously we're going to give him a benefit of doubt, let him finish this season, of course. But I definitely think this season, the beginning half of the season, maybe they give him the summer. I don't think they should, but like, yeah, man, I think some serious questions need to be asked. Same thing with Bentoncourt. Um, like, if we want this midfield to take the next step, I think we're going to have to ask some tough questions out of these players. And the fans are going to have to look deep and say, hey, as good as Bentancur has been, as solid as he's been, as good as Kulusevski's been, as solid as they've been here for how many years? Yes, we won the Europa League, but we haven't necessarily seen this squad progress with them in it. So maybe it may be time to let them go to create space for other players that may be able to uplift the squad. And then as well, I see some youngsters in there that I'm sure is some loan money, or if we do just go ahead and decide to sell some, that we can create some space. Forward wise, let's see, we got this. Let me see. As controversial as it's going to be with Charleston, I mean, every year he's someone that feels like he stands up to 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 be that guy for the team. But man, personally, it's just so hard to watch him sometimes. So I think Richarlison is someone we could definitely get money for. Brendan Johnson, he was linked with a Crystal Palace move even this January. So I definitely think that the club would be willing to hear offers for him in the summer if that doesn't go through. Um, Let me see here as well. We got oh my gosh, we still have Valise on the books. That guy can go. Alejo Valise. We still got like a Jamie Donnelly or a Dane Scarlett, which I think is kind of a shit or get off the pot situation with them. Especially a question that should be asked to Frank, right? These are players that have been hanging around the youth squad, been hanging around the squad for the last 2 to 3 years. And if they're not going to get the opportunities, if they're not going to get to be on the squad, why keep having them around and sending them out on loan when you could just sell them and get the money for it, right? When you can get a full fee for them, why keep putting them out on loan and just getting thousands of euros at a time for them? Why not just go for a wholesale and get, you know, 5, 7, 10 million, however you want to negotiate it? I'm not sure what their value is, but like, why not go for that? Why not take the risk on that? Why is it that we keep these players kind of hanging around? And I feel like it's a little bit unfair to them because I'm sure under previous managers are like, oh yeah, you're gonna get your turn, you're gonna get your chance, and then boom, summer comes in, nope, going off somewhere else. And then you look at the striker situation and you see players like Charleston playing, right? You see when if there's like an injury crisis or whatever in the attacking positions, and it's just it may be unfair to them for them to have to keep going out on loan, them working their butts off just to come into the summer and work their butts off even more in the summer just to be told, hey, we're not going forward with you. So I think for them and the sake for our team, let's just go ahead and sell them if we're going to sell them, or keep them and actually implement them in the squad if we are going to implement them in the squad. And I think that would definitely kind of help uplift some of the attack in some instances, because I think there's definitely some moments or some points in the season where it feels like the attack kind of gets to a lull if there's like injuries, and we kind of need that spark. We need somebody else. We need something else to spark some inspiration in the players and the team and the fans. And maybe that can be one of these academy players. Especially after last season, we saw a decent amount of these youngsters kind of come out in that Europa League game and get the win. So again, it is a little bit unfair for them to just kind of get that game, say like, yeah, this is your opportunity. The crowd loves it, and then you get put away back on the shelf again for the next season or two. It would feel unfair for me. I would definitely feel kind of hard done by it, especially since that was on the run to help the club win a trophy. And your reward for me is to put me back on the shelf, and you don't want to sell me, and you're putting me out on loan and stuff. But if I was good enough to come into the Europa League game, like maybe I should get a shot in the squad. So, like just for their sakes a little bit, I think it Frank and the ownership need to ask some tough questions. Who do we want to keep out of these youth players? And when we go out on summer, how about we bring some players in, right? If we're buying players, how about we have some players in, have some. Maybe not. Maybe you don't need to have all of them in, but right, at least have like at least close to half of the players that you're signing in the summer. At least have like half of those players in by the summer camps. You bring those youth players in so they could see the levels instantly of where the squad's going to be. You see instantly where the levels of the squad's going to be as they're working it out, as they're figuring out. And guess what? If those youngsters see they brought in players that are definitely better than us, and I don't see us getting any starting time, the manager and the youngsters see that, it'll be a lot easier for them to have that mutual agreement of, okay, this is it for our time, versus they play every game in the summer. They look decent. Fans are saying, yeah, that's pretty good. And the manager's like, yeah, you know what? You get another summer game. And you get another summer game. And then when it comes to the end of the summer, it's like, yeah, I don't want you here. Sorry. Don't need you. Like, that's just, it's really unfair. It's really unfair to those players because they work their butt off for those opportunities. So I think if we can manage the summer a little bit better, it'll definitely help with signing some youngsters to the squad or leaving them off. So just kind of to wrap up everything, I mean, I think in the summer, we're definitely going to need at least 5 to 7 players, especially with the players that we're bringing in as well. At least 5 to 7 players that we're signing. And then the signings that we have from last year, the youngsters, we bring them in, right? I think we're not going to be in any sort of European competitions. So we're only going to have one game a week focusing on the domestic cups. And I think you build from there with Thomas Frank, right? If he's still in the squad, obviously. If he's not in the squad, then I don't know what to make of that. But if he's in the squad, then you let him build with that. You give him another season. If he's not, then I'm not sure. I'm not sure if you're thinking another manager's going to come in and try to do better. But that's my honest assessment, man. I think it just needs to be an overhaul of the squad. I think the club needs to buckle down. It takes some responsibility and accountability of the players that they've bought up to now and what the future is going to be. And they need to hold themselves accountable and continue to have that responsibility each season. It doesn't need to be something you do in one transfer window and then, they're just hands off or they don't care, or we see by next year that they don't have a plan for the transfer window. It needs to be every season, every window needs to be planned out. Who are we getting? Who are we letting go? And there needs to be a constant assessment of that. It doesn't just need to be when you feel the squad is bloated. It doesn't need to be after you get rid of a manager. It doesn't need to be before you get rid of a manager. That needs to be a constant thing. Who is up to the level and who's not? And that will solve a lot of the problems when you bring in managers. Because when these managers have to sit here, the last manager sees this player doesn't work, we see they don't work. Then we bring in a new manager and it still doesn't work. We're just wasting time. You're just wasting everybody's time. You saw that player didn't work with that manager. If you're bringing in, quote unquote, a better manager that's going to be asking more of the players, why would you think that player is going to get any better? You're just wasting everybody's time. You're wasting that player's time, wasting the manager's time, you're wasting the fans' time. So, with that all being said, what's needed for the 2026 year is a major overhaul, I think, of the players, and I think some accountability needs to be held of the ownership, and the ownership will need to take some responsibility and say, hey, we're gonna grab the bull by the horns, right? We're going to see what we can get out of this, and we're going to continue to build from that, regardless if it in the last 5 games we lose 5 straight and it all collapses, or we mount some sort of magic comeback and we do get into the European places. There has to be progression. It can't just be, oh man, well that was great. Well, what do you want to do now, folks? It can't be that. We got to stop. The ownership can't be looking at us and we're looking at them and be like, well, what's next? and they're like, well, I don't know, what's next? We gotta stop having that situation. That happens too often at Spurs, where we're both looking at each other, shrugging our shoulders, and be like, what are we doing? Like, come on. It's yeah. But that's it, folks. That is it for tonight. Go ahead, give yourselves a round of applause for staying for the show. I want to thank everybody who's been in attendance, everybody who's been putting something into the comments. If you haven't, that's fine. If you have, that's great. I want to connect with you guys more. I want to hear your opinions more. So don't be hesitant to put anything in the comments. Don't be hesitant to put anything in the live chat. Like I said, go ahead and let me do the last minute logistics here. Go ahead, like this stream, subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be doing this more. I might be going live. I'm definitely going to try to go live on Wednesday for sure. New Year's Eve, we might do a celebration for the new year coming up. But I just definitely wanted to do this stream just to talk about the year in review in case I don't, or I'm not able to live stream on Wednesday. But hey, man, like this stream now, subscribe to the channel. I'll be posting. I post well in advance. I usually give about at least an hour, if not 45 minutes before I go live. So you got plenty of time to get your drinks, your popcorn, tell your loved ones I'm going to be gone for the next hour. It's just De La Spurs time. It's De La Spurs time. I'm coming to get my Spurs time for the next hour. Sorry, Mom. Sorry, Pop. Sorry, Grandma. All right, you know what I'm saying? But hey, man, want to thank you guys again for joining the live stream. It's been fun. I don't know if you can tell, but I've been a little bit sick. That's why I sound a little nasally. And my throat my voice may sound a little bit hoarse at moments. But I've been a little bit sick. But I love doing this. I love doing this for y'all. It's for you guys. It's for Spurs. I love doing live streaming. So it's all good in the hood. I want to thank you guys again for coming out, watching the show. Go ahead, leave your comments, like the stream, subscribe to the channel. Hope you guys are having a good rest of your night. Close out the year 2025 strong. There's another year in 2026. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to hit this next year harder than we did last year. So I want to thank everybody again. You guys have a good night. I'll check y'all later.